SolidBlock is a fractional real estate issuance and trading platform. We're focused on transforming real estate into a fully compliant digital financial product. And our mission is to increase everyone's access to real estate assets globally. What are the challenges in real estate investment? Well, number one, when one is investing in real estate, they know that their money is tied up for many years, but also they need a lot of money to invest in a project. Capital requirements are generally pretty high. And most people, whether they're accredited, sophisticated investors or not, just don't have access to the great AAA deals that big funds have access to today. Now, what is our solution to this problem? Well, number one, we enable users to invest directly in projects and invest in fractions of projects, which lowers capital requirements. We're able to offer $10,000, $20,000 minimum investment for a real estate project. Now, we are providing embedded compliance with blockchain. So blockchain is a secure, immutable ledger that allows us to provide investors with a peace of mind that they actually own the fractions of real estate that they bought. And of course, blockchain also allows people to trade assets directly peer-to-peer. However, of course, we need to do this in a compliant way. So the embedded compliance ensures that the assets are transferred according with the regulation. For example, when I want to sell my holdings in a specific project to somebody over the counter or on an exchange, the buyer has to undergo the KYC and AML, as well as the system is checking whether I'm able to sell to an additional person, as far as the maximum amount of investors goes, or the type of investors that are able to invest in this deal, whether they're accredited or retail investors. So the current real estate investment options are super limited. There are some private REITs which offer very high fees and do not give the benefit of liquidity of being able to buy and sell at whatever schedule the investor is desired. Public REITs, which offer fairly low returns because they require a lot of reporting and they're also very expensive to set up. There are, of course, investment in private assets. However, the access is very limited, and these assets are not usually properly advertised to the public at large because of the regulatory compliance. Of course, if you want to invest in single or multifamily, you can start a project of your own. But of course, it's very capital intensive and also not a viable option for people who want passive investment options. And finally, as I mentioned, there are long hold periods. You expect to have your money in the project for 5 to 7 years until you see returns from the sale. Now, the ideal scenario for us is the fractional ownership of tradable assets. So we take the rights of asset and convert them to digital shares, which can then be traded on either crypto exchanges or ATSs. So imagine that you buy a fraction of an asset digitally, online. You can see all the information, all of the reports, and when you want to liquidate that holding, you can actually put it up for trading with your desirable price and explore options within the platform. So SolidBlock platform enables investors to invest directly with project owners, to track assets, earnings, and market data in real time, and trade investor to investor. This is actually a digital asset. This is how it looks, and I will explain. First of all, we code what's called a smart contract and encapsulate all of this data you see here on the left side: legal and tax information, regulatory compliance, appraisal, KYC, AML, know your customer, anti-money laundering, all of that information that is usually written in the PPM, private placement memorandum or offering memorandum. We take all of that information and code it into a smart contract. So when the investors transfer funds, they are getting these rights in the project. So these rights also include dividends or interest, depending if it's a debt token or an asset token, And they also include, of course, their right to any upside resulting from the project, if that exists within the business model. So dividend distribution happens automatically and according to the rules set out in the offering memorandum. So this slide shows you how right now the market, the real estate market, is very, very limited, because right now investors can only enter in the very initial stage here, where you see the capital raise, and the final stage when the project is complete, and you can basically do a sort of a refinance, and new investors are going to be able to get the yields from the ready project. What about all of the stages in between? What about people who want to only take a specific timeline that they're comfortable with, according with their risk preference, their risk appetite? Let's say I want to only invest in projects at the very beginning because I want maximum risk, maximum return. So I'm going to invest there. But what if I want to leave a year after and then invest in new projects within the same stage? So with our model, investors can invest at any stage, and they will have the data to make these smart decisions. And you can see here that the valuation, because the value of the token is tied to the valuation of the asset, you can see that the fluctuation is not actually very expensive. We estimate the fluctuation to be up to 20–30% of the asset, because of course there's some market forces that make an asset more desirable, and then also some market forces may make the asset less desirable. But usually you will see people selling the asset at lower value because they simply need the funds. So whoever needs to exit and get the funds has access to the platform to do so. And you can imagine the type of an industry that this could grow to. All the trading tools that you see right now in the stock market, and all the industry and the data and the signals and benchmarking and indexing, all of this is going to be available for the real estate. Thank you very much.